Most people treat coding agents like chatbots. They go back and forth until compaction ruins their flow. In this video, I'll show you the 3 tiers of context engineering and why the third tier will change the way you code with agents forever. I'm Roman. I published a top 3% paper at NeurIPS, the largest AI conference in the world. Now I'm on a mission to become the best AI coder. There are 3 tiers of working with context. 90% of users fall into the first tier. They vibe code their sessions, expressing their intent to the agent, allowing compaction, and continuing as if nothing happens. This causes severe context rot and information loss, leading to catastrophic performance decreases and bug-ridden code. Since most people learned AI through chatbots, this comes naturally, and they don't even know that there is a better way. The second tier is the intentional developer, where 9% of users fall. They understand that context rot exists and that intentional context engineering is the best way to work. They frequently compact manually, clear context, and curate handoff documents. However, they still suffer from context rot and struggle to get the models up to speed with where they are. They still treat conversations with coding agents as linear. Then there's the third tier, trajectory engineers. After thousands of hours of trial and error, they have internalized the fact that conversations with LLMs don't have to be linear. They frequently use /rewind to jump back in time with a model, not just to try again, but to keep context lean. They fork sessions and parallelize different trajectories, exploring many at once and picking the best outcome. But why is trajectory engineering possible with LLMs? Well, LLMs have no internal state. Every single time you hit enter, the model processes your request from scratch, just with your request appended to the conversation array. The chat interface just gives you the illusion of continuity. Many people who know this think of the statelessness of LLMs as a limitation because you constantly have to reteach the model things. But this is actually a superpower and allows you to time travel through conversations with models. Human memory degrades over time due to its statefulness. Captured notes are just a lossy snapshot of the place you were mentally when you wrote them. However, agent memory can be respond with 100% fidelity. The state you load implies the trajectory of what the model's response will be. LLMs are incredibly sensitive, meaning that small perturbations in their input space, their context, leads to possibly big trajectory changes in their output space. So what does this really look like in practice? Well, the trajectory engineers are modern day time travelers. In Claude Code, this can be activated by double pressing escape. You can jump back in time to any previous point in a session and explore different trajectories. I like to think of context as a tree. The tree has a trunk, which lays the foundation for the rest of it. This trunk is analogous to your important and reusable information, maybe context about your repo or the plan you are implementing. Traditionally, context will grow from this trunk until the tree falls down, aka the user hits /clear. But why let the tree grow to an unstable point when we can keep trimming it down to the trunk? Once you become a trajectory engineer, you can intentionally create branches, explore, and then trim the branches back. You can gather more context on the main branch, use that as recon, and then trim back with /rewind. This allows you to explore perturbations of different magnitudes to the input space, letting you explore what the model has to say and refine your prompt's details in order to reach or approach the optimal trajectory, the optimal output that a model could have in your situation. I personally use /rewind multiple times per session, whether it be to try an approach with a different prompt or just trim session context down. Now let me motivate context trimming with an example. If you are deep into a coding session and your agent implements a bug, what you can do is fix the bug by going back and forth with the agent. Now that the bug is fixed, instead of proceeding with your work, you can trim out the context related to fixing the bug as it is no longer relevant. Time travel back to before the bug was spotted, let the model know what happened and how you fixed it, and proceed from there. Once you realize that you can respawn, parallelize, and jump back to any state in a context window, this unlocks the true skill ceiling of agentic coding, and the sky is the limit. Context engineering in this way will widen the gap between you and other AI users due to the power and quality difference of experiencing no context rot and approaching the optimal trajectory. That's why I'm calling these new age time travelers trajectory engineers, because we aren't just engineering the context or the prompts anymore. We are engineering the output of a black box system. If you want to learn how to build your app or transform your business by building with coding agents, then join my free community. It is the #1 agentic coding community on School. I'll see you in there.